We are finally back in the seat, everyone, making content once again. Had a week-long vacation out in Turks and Caicos, little R&R time away with the family, and a chaotic crypto market was a must. But I'm happy to be back creating this content for you. Each and every Monday, we're changing it up, going back to what we envisioned in the first place when creating this crypto YouTube channel. Bitcoin, the king of crypto, discussing it each and every Monday. In case someone's new to the crypto space comes across our channel, we want to show that conviction for the number one asset that this world's ever gonna see. And that way you begin your journey with Bitcoin and understand Bitcoin on a deep level before getting into any other asset. And you buy Bitcoin an approach to never selling it. Of course, none of it's financial advice. We're just here for pure entertainment purposes only. We're just trying to give you a perspective. That way you can help set yourself up for success in the future. And it always starts with Bitcoin, in my opinion. Now, on Tuesdays, we'll go into the alts, talking about the Prince of Crypto, Ethereum, and other altcoins within the space. And then that's going to lead us into other content as the week progresses. But we're always going to start with Bitcoin each and every Monday moving forward, talking about the news, because it's going to dominate the market. It's going to continue dominating the market. And this way you can understand how the market might be moving forward, because it's always going to be led by Bitcoin, at least in the bear markets for the most part. Also, we'll be growing out our beard like we've talked about once before. 250,000 is the price target or the goal for Bitcoin until we can actually shave this. If Bitcoin reaches that price target, we'll maybe color it orange for a couple days before we do shave it. Also playing a factor is Ethereum has to get over 20K as well. One of the two need to happen in order for us to shave it. But we have those price targets, and a market like this, we're looking at years until we can reach those prices. But we have a lot of conviction for the space. So you're joining us on that journey, right? Now, also, we did change up our logo. I hope you do like it. We got the bull for the macro crypto outlook for the logo. Also, our PFP did change across all social media, whether it's Discord, Twitter. We do have the Crypto Monks laser eyes. Thank you for that community. Also, a great little shout out to them for anyone that's new to the space. Has a lot of educational purposes. So that's why we are putting it out there as RPFP, because we want to bring people into the space to be successful. And it always starts with Bitcoin. In today's video, we are going to be chatting about the dominance of Bitcoin, heading over to Terra Luna and its collapse, because it's had a sell-off of basically all their Bitcoin within their reserves. MicroStrategy, where they currently sit with all the Bitcoin they've been accumulating since 2020. And then there is a meeting coming up in El Salvador with their president, with 44 other countries, about Bitcoin specifically. Central banks around those countries are also going to be attending this meeting, which is just insane that we're talking about countries using it. The country that has it as legal tender, inviting 44 other countries to discuss Bitcoin. Crazy in a market like this. Now, also, we're going to be discussing Bitcoin's current price, the market, the charts, what its outlook looks like in the coming months, but more importantly, how we envision it for years to come. And then wrapping it up with our dollar cost average discussion like we do each and every week regarding Bitcoin. So let's go ahead, dive right into our content today, discussing Bitcoin, news surrounding the space. We had some capitulation happening. Of course, Bitcoin drawdown to as far as $25,000 on some exchanges. Are we going to get more pain in the future? If history is to repeat itself, yeah, we're in for some more pain in the coming weeks. But at the same time, no one can really know what the bottom is. I'm not trying to predict the bottom here. I'm just trying to prepare myself for the possibility of another capitulation coming in the coming weeks or in the coming months. That way I can best position me and my portfolio moving forward, because I'm in this game for a long time, not just for the good times, right? So hopefully you understand that there is a chance that we have not seen the worst, and the worst is yet to come. But we might have also seen the bottom already happen. Now, how we can see where we evolve with time, can we get back to a bullish phase? We'll go over some of those things within the charts later in this video, but let's go ahead, talk about Bitcoin's dominance, currently sitting at 44.86%, and it has been steadily climbing within the last few weeks here, increasing itself to over 44%. Where we go from here, we will only see if any indication of past performance for Bitcoin when we've had a bear market in comparison to alts. Bitcoin continues to climb in dominance. If you've noticed back in late or early 2018, Bitcoin's dominance almost had a flippening happen with Ethereum, got down to 36.83%. But from that point, when basically crypto peaked out during that cycle, Bitcoin went on a dominant run for the next 3 years until the end of 2020, 70.21%. Huge dominance within the space itself. Are we going to see that with this type of bear market? Are we going to get an extended bear market? How is this crypto space going to evolve with time? No one really knows. So if you're looking to allocate funds on the outside, whether you're going to dollar cost average in or you're just going to throw it right into Bitcoin or Ethereum or some other asset that you believe in, if we got a long bear market extension, guess what? Your best asset that you're going to put in, especially if we have more drawdowns and more pain to come, best way to do it is through Bitcoin. Dollar cost average your way into it. Is that over an 8-week period or 12 weeks? I personally did this back when I sold my house back in 2017 and just went right into both Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even Litecoin at that time. Mistake, mind you. But we dove right in, not even dollar costing averaging into it. Me personally, I would have changed that up. Look in hindsight on everything, of course. Dollar cost and averaging would have been a better bet for me specifically, but everyone has a different timeline, a different time frame. If you are in this game for a long time, then guess what? Get yourself in a dollar cost average position over time and then hold that position until the next cycle. And we're talking years, right? 2025 and beyond for that next cycle to actually take place and really get some big gains out of your position in the first place. Now, as we all know, Terra Luna, the stable coin itself, UST, depegged. They had a lot of reserves with Bitcoin. They sold off over $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. Just basically a last-ditch effort to get themselves out of the predicament they were in. A lot of people talked about an attack on the chain to depeg it. It was basically, it happened. Yeah, someone went in there. They took advantage of some bad code or basically a bad ecosystem and were able to take advantage of that. And eventually Terra Luna tried to sell off all their Bitcoin that they've been gobbling up over the last couple months. Now, we should have seen this coming if we're being honest. If you go look at the charts while everything else was falling, Terra Luna was increasing with value during those same months since October. So it should be a red flag anytime you're seeing Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two best assets within the crypto space itself, falling in price. And then you have an asset that's just gaining in price, especially jumping into the top 10. Just a red flag in my opinion. So it's something to kind of keep an eye on later on when you're looking at different cryptos within the space. But the reason why we talk about it, obviously, because they were gobbling up Bitcoin for their reserves. Good for them to try to do that, but I think it was smoke and mirrors. I don't know if there was good intentions or not, if this was a Ponzi scheme, if we're being honest. I'm just happy I wasn't involved within that, but I definitely feel for those who had money locked up within that ecosystem because obviously, and I know a few people that did, and it's tough, definitely tough to hear. Checking in on MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor buying up Bitcoin. Forbes came out with a nice little article saying that they're now in the red. So of course all this is going to come out as soon as Bitcoin's price has gone under their cost basis. So taking a little bit of a snippet from that article, MicroStrategy embarked on a strategy of using its cash and then debt, which they actually used their debt or collateralized some of their Bitcoin to borrow more money from the Federal Reserve, mind you, to buy alternative assets, which is Bitcoin, when it announced in June 2020 quarter results of July 28, 2020. Over the almost 2 years since then, it has bought over 129,000 Bitcoin, not dollars worth of Bitcoin, as of May 2nd, 2022. Now, the company has spent just under $4 billion for an average cost basis of $30,700 per Bitcoin. Unfortunately, since then, last Thursday, May 12th, Bitcoin has been trading a bit over to around $2,000 under that cost basis, break-even price of $30,700, and has gotten as low as $26,000. Actually, it's gotten $25,000 some odd dollars on some exchanges. The recent downturn in Bitcoin's price over $10,000 or 26% capitulation in the last month, just devastating, driven by the increase in interest rates and risk-off environment becoming more prevalent, also has a hit on the company's share price, fallen over 250 or 56% in the past month. Now, MicroStrategy is going to be okay. They have a liquidation price on their Bitcoin that they have used to collateralize for the debt that they have with the Fed at 21,000, I think is the price where it's going to get liquidated. Now, of course, if Bitcoin's price even gets near 21,000, they have the funds to put that even lower, so they're not going to get liquidated, or I don't see that even having the possibility of that happening, because they'll be able to collateralize more onto that position to lower the price. Now, we'll see how this works out in the coming days, but that's kind of giving you a little update on one of the largest companies having Bitcoin on their balance sheet and how it's progressing for them. Now, just in a macroeconomic scale, it's just tough right now with risk on assets, and currently a lot of people view Bitcoin as a risk on asset. Now, 44 countries set to meet El Salvador to discuss Bitcoin, and here's what we know. Some of these countries are basically Rwanda, Egypt, Jordan, Nigeria, just to name a few, and their central banks are coming along the way to discuss Bitcoin, how they can utilize Bitcoin within their ecosystems, and this is just some massive bullish news for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem in general, and crypto overall. If you're talking about nations considering or at least hearing out what El Salvador has done, and you're going to really start to see the IMF, which really pushed some negative aspects about Bitcoin out. Someone else out there, Steve Bernanke, the old individual for the Fed, has talked shit about Bitcoin recently. So you're going to start to really see this amp up, because if other nations are going to start adapting Bitcoin into their countries, that's really going to put pressure on the US dollar and really currencies around the world in comparison to Bitcoin. And the fight has already begun, and it's going to be a massive brawl, Bitcoin versus the old guard. So Bitcoin won't become an alternative form of money or a store of value, says Ben Bernanke. Ben Bernanke was the old chairman for the Fed. Gold has an underlying value, talking about that gold actually has value to it because it can use to be filled cavities. And we've talked about how they feel, of course, the Fed chairman, even Powell, they're going to not talk positively about Bitcoin, because like we discussed in previous video, Charlie Munger has mentioned it undermines the Fed. Now, I personally want to see the US government, the Fed in general, to eventually adopt Bitcoin or at some form, because instead of fighting what is inevitable, I want to see the US prosper. I want to see the US dollar succeed, because if the US dollar fails, and the whole world will see a capitulation like we've never seen, because there's so much that the US dollar has backing this ecosystem in the entire world. So let's see that adoption of Bitcoin into the US dollar, how that can be incorporated. Eventually, that's where I wanted to see. Until we get there, obviously, we're going to just see the Fed, the IMF, everyone fighting Bitcoin tooth and nail, and you're going to see those smaller countries like El Salvador consider or adopting Bitcoin. Now, let's go ahead and end this video off with the charts where Bitcoin, we've seen this type of capitulation over a year span before, 84% in the past. We've basically seen a little bit less of losses over a certain span as time has moved along. Basically, Bitcoin has seen over 90% before. Last time it was over 84%. Currently, we're sitting and hovering around 64%. Is that the end all be all? We didn't see the same type of blow off top. So have we seen the bottom that we're going to get? Or are we going to reach more like 75, 76%? Was just watching a video in regards to Benjamin Cohen. Can't rave about his channel enough, so go check him out. But basically predicting possibly a capitulation further, which would get us down to 76% in total, which would be around a price of $16,000 per Bitcoin. This is not to scare you. This is just giving you the possibility of what could come, but this gives you an idea of how you can better position yourself for your Bitcoin and your portfolio in general. Now, we're going to end this video, of course, off with discussing our DCA. Put another $100 into Bitcoin at a price of $30,000. You don't like to see it, but it happens. We already did the $100, but we almost have 5 million Satoshis. Remember, Satoshis are the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin. And currently right now, where we've added a couple things, average cost basis. So currently at $100 per week from the start of the year, we're averaging around a little over $40,000. On our monthly $100 allocation, we are averaging a cost basis of $42,000 per Bitcoin. Right now, we're at a loss of 23%. We did have dollar values here. We changed that up. So we're in the red right now, loss of 23.8%. On our monthly, we have a loss of 28.08%. So current value, this is how much we've invested, $1,900 weekly. Monthly, we've put $500 in. This is what those current values look like. So not what you want to see right now, of course, but guess what? Lower the prices are, the better that our dollar cost and averages are going to be able to gobble up those prices over the coming weeks. And we're in this game for a long time. We're not just in it for the weeks we've already been into it or the months from the beginning of 2022. We're doing this to show you where you can be at in 5 years from now. So hopefully you're following along with us. If you have some money sitting on the sidelines, you can start DCA your way in. Maybe it's only $50 or maybe it's $1,000 every week. Whatever the case may be, that's up to you, but you're getting yourself into the number one asset that this world's ever going to see. It's undeniable. It's inevitable. Just remember that. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video here at Macro Crypto. Until next time, everybody, peace.